Today, we're breaking down something called the strategy ladder. It's a really useful framework for navigating the exciting, but yeah, often complex world of DeFi. Now, just a quick reminder, this is all for educational purposes. It is not financial advice. Okay, let's get into it.
So, why do so many people get into trouble in decentralized finance? Well, it usually comes down to one thing. They see those high yields, they get excited, and they jump straight into the deep end without really learning to swim first. Honestly, most of the big, costly mistakes happen simply from skipping the basic steps.
So to help avoid those pitfalls, we're going to use a simple but really powerful tool, the strategy ladder. Just think of it like a three-rung ladder that helps you build up your DeFi skills and understanding, safely and step by step. It's all about managing risk as you go. Our ladder has 3 clear levels, and each one builds on the one before it. We've got simple staking, then liquid staking, and finally, yield stacking. Getting this progression is really the key to navigating DeFi with a bit more confidence.
Okay, so let's start climbing and break down what each of these rungs is all about, starting right at the foundation.
First up is rung 1, simple staking. This is the bedrock, right? With simple staking, you lock up your crypto assets to help secure a network. And in return for that, you earn rewards. You can think of it as being kind of like earning interest in a savings account. The real beauty of this first step is just how simple it is. It's a straightforward and frankly, a fantastic way to get started. All right, let's climb up to rung 2, liquid staking. This is where things get a little more interesting. So it starts the same way. You stake your assets. But here's the twist. You immediately get a receipt token that represents your staked position. This token is liquid, which means you can trade it or use it in other DeFi apps, all while you're still earning your original staking rewards. This gives you incredible flexibility and makes your capital way more efficient. And at the very top of our ladder, we have rung 3, yield stacking. Now, this is the most advanced strategy of the 3. Here, you take that liquid stakes token you got from rung 2 and use it as collateral in a lending protocol. Then you borrow a stable asset like a stablecoin against it, and you put that borrowed asset into another, more conservative yield source. The whole idea is to earn more from the borrowed money than what you're paying in interest, essentially stacking a new yield on top of your base rewards.
But climbing to that top rung means you're taking on more risk. Yield stacking can definitely boost your returns, but you have to be aware of 2 big dangers. First, there's liquidation risk. This is where you could lose your collateral if the market moves against you and its value drops too much. And second is bridge risk. This comes into play if you're moving assets between different blockchains to find yield. The bridge itself can be a point of failure.
Let's try to make this a little more real with an example. So, imagine you're an Ethereum holder. You could use a liquid staking service to stake your ETH and get a token like SDF back. This SDF is now your core position. It's earning you staking rewards, but it's also still totally liquid. You've just made it to rung 2. From there, you could decide to go on to rung 3 by using that SDF as your collateral.
Now, if you are thinking about taking on that top rung, there are some absolutely critical rules you've got to follow to stay safe. This isn't about chasing the highest possible gains. It's all about smart, sustainable strategy.
The first rule, and for sure the most important one, is to borrow conservatively. What does that mean? It means not maxing out how much you can borrow against your collateral. You want to leave yourself a massive cushion to absorb any market swings. And then you put those borrowed funds into deep, reliable, and stable liquidity pools, not into some risky, unproven thing.
Let's be really clear about the goal here. Your job is not to maximize your leverage or squeeze out every last bit of yield. Your number one job is risk management. Your goal is to keep liquidation as a distant theoretical thing, not something you're worried about every day. And that means keeping your strategy simple and always having a clear exit path.
And here's a super simple test to see if your strategy is getting too complicated. Just ask yourself, can you explain how to get out of your entire position and back to your original asset in just 2 simple steps? 1, repay the debt. 2, reclaim your collateral. If you can't say that clearly, you're probably taking on way too much complexity and risk.
So you really should use this ladder like a progression. Master rung 1 before you even think about rung 2. Get completely comfortable there before you even consider rung 3. And if you do decide to go to the top, you just have to accept that active monitoring isn't optional. It becomes a fundamental part of the system. So next time, we're going to dive deep into the mechanics of automated market makers and what it means to provide liquidity. That way, you can really understand where those pool fees you're chasing are actually coming from. See you then.